Good morning. We're here early. This is Ella's song as an Ella Baker, social activist. Please sing the chorus. Because there's 7 verses, you have lots of chances to sing. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mother sons is as important as the killing of white men, white mother sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. That which touches me most is that I have a chance to work with people, passing on to others that which was passed on to me. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. To me, young people converse. They converse. They have courage where we fail. And if I could but shed some light as they carry us through the gale. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, 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 no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. The older I get, the better I know that the secret of my going on is when the hands and brains are in the hands of the young who did. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing the light just to shine on me. I need to be one in the number as we stand against tyranny. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, 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 no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Struggling myself don't mean a whole lot. I've come to realize that teaching others to stand and fight is the only way our struggle survives. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice. And I must be heard. At times I can be quite difficult. How about no man's word? We who believe in freedom cannot rest. No, 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 no. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. One more time. We who We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Leanda, will you offer us our welcome?
There's a lot going on up here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. Your order of service tells you that I'm Kate Kowalski. I am not. Kate is sick today, along with a good chunk of our congregation this morning. If you would like a mask, I see mostly everybody has one. They are all available out in the foyer, if that makes you more comfortable. So my name is Leanda. I'm also on the board of directors here at UUFF. I'm a member of the Chalice team, which helps plan Sunday morning services. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values freedom in religious thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our interconnections, connections to each other, to all of life, and to the precious universe of which we are a part. We affirm the universality of love and hope as we journey together in community, and we welcome you, whoever you are at this moment and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. If you're joining us online, welcome. And if you are new, please check out our website if you need more information. If you are visiting us again for the first time, there are white cards, upside down, on the back of the seat in front of you if you'd like to fill out your contact information, and we can get you on our email list and let you know what we have going on. If you need hearing assistance, David in the back corner here can help you out with that. We always love to have children in our services, but there's also a staff nursery downstairs if you would like to take advantage of that, or the service is also piped out into the foyer. Please remember to silence your cell phones as we enter into service, and I believe that Charlotte and Edith are going to light our chalice this morning.
Please join us as we light the chalice written in your program or on the screen. Love is the spirit of this church, to serve is prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in truth, to help one another, thus do we covenant together.
Thanks, y'all. Good morning. First, I would like to thank you for being flexible about the masks today as we contend with a large number of flu cases right now. I will ask that you keep Sue Copernall in your good thoughts as, in the hospital, she fights the flu, which turned into pneumonia. And several others of us are sick today. Please take good care of yourselves. Every single one of you is important. Okay, beloveds, today is a big day. Today we are recognizing Trans Day of Visibility. It's not until the 31st, but today is the day that we are recognizing it. And we are also welcoming a group of new members into our fellowship. Why do people join a UU fellowship? Well, for a number of reasons. Because here we join our strength with others to create a more just society. Because here we respect the whole self, mind, body, and spirit working together. Because here we build a supportive community that eases our loneliness and opens our hearts. Because here we encourage each other to be our true selves. Let me say that again. Because here we encourage each other to be our true selves. Because we want to be seen by each other. Here in a little while, our new members will stand up before the congregation. Why do we ask them to stand up front? So they can be seen. So we can recognize and see them. so they can look out at all of you and see you. I freely admit that I have the best view of the whole church. I love looking out at all of you. I love it. I love it. I wish I could see everybody on Facebook too. And I love that you see me. I want to be visible to you. I want you to see me. The current presidential administration is doing its worst to the trans community. It seeks to erase gender nonconforming and transgendered people, to put them out of the light, to not allow them to be seen. You hear me say it all the time that we need to center marginalized voices. That marginalized voices must be heard even if it's hard to hear what they're saying. And actually, if it's hard to hear what they're saying, then it's even more important that we listen and learn from our transgender and non-binary siblings. Not only do we need to center their voices and rally around them, not only do those of us in positions of privilege, which is frankly most of us, need to be quiet and listen, we also need to invite them up front so they can be visible. Everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves to be seen as they truly are, as their authentic selves. The 7 principles that are still a big part of UUism are very clear as to how we should behave as Unitarian Universalists. The very first principle declares that every person has worth and dignity. Everyone is equal. Our new Article 2 states that equality is one of the most important values that we UUs hold dear. They picked 7 values that Unitarian Universalists hold dear, and equality is one of them. Transgender Day of Visibility is not a sweet little pride celebration. It's not a day just for transgender and gender nonconforming people. This is a day of action for everyone. On this day, ideally, transgender and non-binary people identify themselves, show themselves as they truly are, and ask to be seen. Ooh, but it feels dangerous right now, doesn't it? Oh my God, it feels dangerous. Therefore, then, on this day, ideally, cisgendered people step back, unless they're needed as allies beside. They step back, they recognize, they applaud, and they shine the light. They hold the spotlight and make visible these siblings of ours who are doing the incredibly difficult work, especially in today's climate, of being who they truly believe they are called to be. It is not easy for any of us to be truly authentic. Woo! But transgender and non-binary folks are really in it right now, with so much being stacked against them. Therefore, we make room. We create the space for transgender and non-binary people to be seen. Do it. Do it. Let's all do it. And if you don't know how to do it, look it up. Flag has some good resources out there. Our trans siblings deserve and need our solidarity now more than ever before. Jory?
Please rise if you are willing and able and sing this in honor of our new members and for all of us as we feel home and seen here in this space. Right.
I mean, you sound great. That was perfect and beautiful. And let's do this one.
You know, I don't know how that, building a house, I mean, maybe I just confuse them like that. Okay, so, anyway, we're going to build a new way. We'll get back to that other one. You know this is one of my favorites, right? Here we go. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free.
The important work of this fellowship is possible because of your generous contributions of time, talent, and treasure. Every contribution of every size is helpful and appreciated. As we pass the offering baskets, and they're about to come around, we invite you to share financially, or if you prefer, you can give on our website via text or just regular old check in the mail. This morning is one of our best services that we have of the year because we are welcoming new members, and I believe we have 7. I haven't counted the 7. I think it's 7. But that's fantastic. Membership is a big decision. It's not just about belonging. It's a commitment to our covenant, to the mission and vision of this fellowship, as well as joining with all Unitarian Universalists in promoting our principles or values in the world around us. Rev. Renée.
Members choose to join for many different reasons, including intellectual stimulation, religious education, emotional support, and spiritual growth in a communal environment. As we talked about it earlier, seeking to be a member of a Unitarian Universalist congregation comes when we want to give more and get more from our spiritual life. It comes when we are ready to join a community of like-minded people who are exploring the deeper meanings of life through science or spirituality or not spirituality. How we relate to each other and to the world around us is important when we're considering joining. It comes when we look at our world and find it in need of peace and justice. And we believe that we can help because we can. Knowing that we'll have a greater impact acting as a group, acting as a community, than by standing alone. As we welcome these newest members into our community, I encourage all of you to reflect on your commitment to this congregation. Recall why you decided to become a member. Think about how this fellowship supports your spiritual journey and how you can support these new members in theirs. How can you keep your membership as fresh as the day you signed the book? Next up is our membership team member, Charlotte Taylor.
It is my privilege to serve on the membership team, and I get to know our new members early and in a personal way. So it's always really fun for me to be a part of this service. As Renee said, joining the church is a commitment. Some of you all may remember your church where every Sunday they had an altar call, and everybody sat nervously about whether they should join or not, or commit or not. And we really are a little bit different. We want people to really know who we are and what we want to be and what we would like you to join us in. So there are 3 things that we ask new members to do. One is to come to a class. We had a new Being UU class a couple of weeks ago. It was right after one of those storms, and we had a great time getting to know one another and sharing who we are, learning about the congregation, learning about our international organization. The second thing is to make a pledge covenant commitment, and we all do that as members every year. We really want people to think about their membership and to every year make a commitment of their time and talents and their service. And the last thing is to sign our membership book, which we all have done. Sorry about that. Y'all could probably hear me anyway. So we're most excited to have, we have 7 folks today. We have a couple of spouses. We have a couple of people that got sick. So Leanda will call names up, and you'll see we haven't counted quite right. They're with us in spirit, but not physically. So Leanda, if you will call the names, and as your name is called, please step forward and come up here. We've got Vince is going to join us up here too, right, Vince? Okay, good.
Chris Langford. Megan Langford. She's not with us. Okay. Paula Rimmer. Kirsten Beckett. Sam Beckett.
Another 6 spouse.
Pete Brower. Mariah Hunter. By becoming a member of this fellowship, we ask that you share your time, your talent, and your treasure as you are able. We ask that you be curious about this place, its people, and becoming part of building our vision for the future. Are you ready to commit yourself to this community, to Unitarian Universalism, and to its covenant of relationship? If so, say I am. On the table is our treasured book of members. It's been with us, I think, since the beginning. Yes, it's very old. It tells a long and distinguished history of this congregation, and it's a very human story of the life of a covenanted religious community. It's a story that's still being written, and now it will continue with your help. When you have signed, you signify that you are in covenant with us. We have a certificate of membership and some welcoming gifts for you. Will the members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation Fellowship at Fayetteville please rise in body or spirit? As members and keepers of this congregation, you are asked to share with these new members the passion and promise that you bring to this community. You are asked to learn their names, their stories, their hopes and dreams, and let them know yours. Make room for them at the table, the activity, and the committee, but be very gentle. Let them choose their own commitments. Remember that they will need your care at times, and when you are in need, they will be among those who care for you. Understand that as they become more deeply connected to this community, their contributions will change UUFF, and that change will be for the better because of their presence. Members of UUFF, do you now pledge to walk in covenant with these new members and welcome them into their new religious home? If so, say, "We do." We do. Please remain standing.
Together, let us speak the words of welcome that are on your screen, on the screen now. Ready? In a covenant of fellowship and love, we unite to cultivate reverence and thoughtfulness, to promote spiritual growth and ethical commitment, to minister to each other's needs and to those of humanity, to celebrate the sacred moments of life's passage, and to honor the interconnection with all at the heart of our being. And members say, "We welcome you to this fellowship with all our hearts." And the new members say, "We join this fellowship with all our hearts." So may it be. Welcome to UUFF. Yay! Let's stay standing and sing. This is our traditional song that we always sing at new member services. And I was so excited to see that the CRE class today made a craft about "This House Is Yours." This is so fun. Okay, Jory, kick it off. Take it. You take that mic.
Here's where we build our new house. Full of new friends. Welcome all. Here we go.
This house is full of friends who give encouragement. This house is yours. It offers dignity, and here your heart is free. This house is yours. You are home. You aren't alone. You are home. You aren't alone. This house is full of friends who give encouragement. This house is yours. This house is yours. This house is yours.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. First off, on behalf of the Welcoming Congregation Committee, I'd like to thank you all for attending this very special service today to welcome our new members to the congregation. It's so wonderful to see the new friends finding sanctuary here with our fellowship. Secondly, I was asked to deliver a message about Transgender Day of Visibility, which is coming up on the 31st of this month. I would also like to thank each and every one of you for being here with us today, including those on Facebook. And your attendance helps us to continue our work towards recognizing the diversity of the community and including those made to feel marginalized for their identities. Your presence today is so much more valuable than can be expressed with words alone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Normally I'd give my introduction during opening words, but since today is so action-packed, I'm merging it into my message. Anyway, so my name is Benjamin, and I use he, him, his pronouns. You can call me Ben, but I've also been going by Jam with my friends recently. And I'll also respond to just Min. You know, like the first two syllables of the word just kind of get dropped off, that it's not even necessary to get my attention. So I was thinking that since all of these three are single syllable names, we could use them in place of the gendered pronouns. And I was thinking it would be kind of an interesting experiment to see if we use them in the same pattern. Like, if I said, hi, my name's Benjamin, I use Benjamin's pronouns. I think it would work, you know? I think it'd work well. But now I feel the need to explain. Like, Ben is the subject, and Jam is the direct object, and Min has an S on it because it's possessive. I lost my place. So I wanted to give an example, like Ben has been attending this fellowship for almost 2 years. Groups and teams that include Jam as a member or volunteer as follows: the Welcoming Congregation Committee, the Finance Team, the Green Sanctuary Program, the Web of Life, and Coffee Hour. Min's stories can sometimes run long, but once Ben gets talking, people listen to Jam. Okay, it's making sense. All right, cool. If you're having trouble wrapping your heads around this one, though, that's okay. I'm having difficulties, too. Ben and Jam here is the same grammatically as the difference between who and whom, or he and him. And I'm a math guy. I'm not going to slap you with a ruler over this. Yet. I'd like to encourage y'all to just have some fun with it, give it your best shot, and honestly just continue to respect me even though I've got these new pronouns. And I hope I'm not the only person you meet with neo-pronouns, too. Some common ones you may encounter are Z here and A air, Fay fair, things like that. People come up with some pretty cool ways to express themselves, and I even have a whole slideshow about it. So let me know if you're interested in hearing more. That'll probably happen around June. All right, so let's get into some kind of awkward vocabulary. Sex is defined by certain characteristics, namely anatomy, hormones, and chromosomes. Usually when people are born in our modern Western society, a doctor will glance at a baby's external organs and assign the baby one of two sexes, male or female. If the baby doesn't fit neatly into the male or female category, the baby is intersex. It's actually pretty rare for an intersex person to be granted legal intersex status. If the baby's lucky, the doctor will give their best educated guess which category the baby will fit in better as they grow, and inform the baby's loving guardians of what kind of changes they can prepare for when the baby gets to puberty. The unlucky babies have to deal with things like medical interventions. In America, doctors and parents are legally allowed to force children to undergo largely unnecessary surgeries and hormonal treatments in an effort to get their bodies to conform to the male-female sexual binary. So that's the definition of sex. Gender is an amalgamation of behavioral, cultural, and psychological traits that our society typically associates with the assigned sex. This includes gender roles, which are expectations society holds about behavior, thoughts, and characteristics also associated with sex. Gender is not synonymous with sex, though. Sex is defined by the physical characteristics, whereas gender is something you feel as you're growing up, and also further into adulthood. Many adults have difficulty grasping this, though. Parents and guardians tend to have this tendency to let the M or F on their child's birth certificate inform the expectations they have for their children. Girls are supposed to be well-mannered and play with dolls, and boys get a bit more slack for acting out and get tool toys to play with. These societally enforced gender roles honestly make very little sense to me, and they get more oblique as people get older. The truth is, there is no concrete, universally understood expectation of what it takes to be a man or a woman. People whose genders align with the one associated with the sex they were assigned at birth are known as cisgender. People whose genders do not align with the one assigned with their sex assigned at birth, associated with their sex assigned at birth, are known as transgender. Cis comes from the Latin root meaning on this side of, and trans comes from the Latin root meaning on the other side of. Personally, I didn't know about the words transgender or cisgender existing until I was about 17, although I kind of understood the concepts from a pretty young age. I didn't really want to wear dresses, and I never liked pink that much, and the adults around me just kept trying to shove me right back into the girl box every time I wandered away from it. I'm thankful for my liberal-leaning mother, yet she was still cisgender and heterosexual. She did her very best to answer my questions around the early 2000s. She gently explained to me that people who wear clothes associated with a different gender were known as a word that is frankly outdated. It's transvestite, and I will use it later too. In medical fields specifically. But that's not polite in large society, so I have to use the word cross-dresser instead. And then she also gave me a definition of transsexual, which at the time meant someone who wanted to live fully as the gender associated with the opposite sex, and may or may not include any surgeries. Technically, transsexual is a subset of transgender in the medical field still, although the former term is hotly debated due to how outdated those medical beliefs and practices are nowadays. And so I quietly debated for the next decade or so whether I was a cross-dresser or a transsexual. Although for the record, my mom made triple sure and maybe quadruple sure that I knew that asking people about what surgeries they may or may not be planning is considered rude. Whatever's in other people's pants is none of my business. Please also don't ask me this question, and I may or may not actually answer it, depending on how you ask. All right, so now we're going to go into history. Although trans individuals have existed since the dawn of humanity, the history of International Transgender Day of Visibility is relatively short. From what I researched, it started in the 90s with the release of author Leslie Feinberg's books. We've got Stone Butch Blues in 1993 and Transgender Warriors in 1996. These books brought trans people and issues into the mainstream media and laid the groundwork for a lot of the terminology used in academia around gender and queer studies. The term transgender became the popular umbrella term to refer to all the gender nonconforming people around this time, and also further developed the distinction between the concepts of gender identity and sexual orientation to the mainstream. Remember, gender identity is how you feel about your own experience of gender, and sexual orientation is about the genders of the people you're attracted to. In 1999, transgender advocate Gwendolyn Ann Smith held a vigil to honor the memory of Rita Hester, a transgender woman who was killed in 1998. She also commemorated all the transgender people lost to violence since Rita Hester's death, and that began the important tradition known as Transgender Day of Remembrance. You might remember us speaking to this topic in last November. If not, the recording of that service is on our website, our YouTube channel, and hopefully still our Facebook. But y'all, that subject is heavy. And Transgender Day of Remembrance was all that the trans community had for 10 years. It was until 1999. And year after year, trans people and allies gathered to mourn and protest the prejudice we face for simply existing. The day serves as a reminder that we must continue to fight for our rights as human beings. And in 2009, until 2009, it was the only day observed by the larger queer community that recognized transgender people specifically. And now that we're in the late 2000s, social media starts coming into play. Rachel Crandall Crocker, co-founder of the nonprofit organization Transgender Michigan and also self-proclaimed Facebook addict at the time, wanted an event that focuses on and celebrates the living. And she had to go and create such an event herself. She used Facebook as her platform. Transgender Day of Visibility was created to uplift trans joy, increase awareness of the challenges the trans community faces, and affirm the right of all people to be seen and valued as their authentic selves. Crandall Crocker's event was focused on Michigan, in that all the panelists she invited to speak to her event were from Michigan, but that event actually went global. A lot of people were like, whoa, Transgender Day of Visibility should exist, and we're going to make it happen everywhere. There's also March 31st, 2009 is recognized as the first annual International Transgender Day of Visibility. And the word international here is in there for good reason. I found records of events for TDOV in England and Canada in 2009, and then Ireland and Scotland joined in 2014 with physical events that people went to. And then transgender individuals started just posting selfies, personal stories, and other content relating to transgender issues to raise awareness and increase visibility in celebration of the day. I took part in that. I do a lot, actually. In 2021, our US President Joe Biden finally proclaimed March 31st as Transgender Day of Visibility in the official documents. He said, in part, "I call upon all Americans to join in the fight for full equality for all transgender people." President Biden also made similar proclamations the subsequent years he was in office. In last year's proclamation, CNN reports that Transgender Day of Visibility honors the extraordinary courage and contributions of transgender Americans. And he also adds that transgender Americans are part of the fabric of our nation, and they deserve and entitled to the same rights and freedoms as every other American, including the fundamental freedom to be their true selves. I'm mentioning CNN's article here because last year, Easter Sunday happened to land on March 31st. And they were reporting on the backlash of the politicians with the backwards belief that Biden was trying to erase the Christian holiday in favor of Transgender Day of Visibility. Yeah. I wondered briefly if Biden just, forgot about Easter, but they still had the egg hunt. Maybe he made a second proclamation, but has any U.S. president ever made a proclamation for Easter? So I clicked on the hyperlink, and that took me to whitehouse.gov. And I received a 404 not found error, and also my computer crashed. To be fair, I had about 25 tabs open, and it was through this incident that I learned that whitehouse.gov gets a redesign with every new president administration since it was established in 1994 under Bill Clinton. So I'm trying really hard to avoid reaching for my tinfoil hat here, but given the recent disappearance of the T from the National Park Service government website, the National Park Service's government website on Stonewall, specifically, I can't help but be extra skeptical. I mean, everyone here knows that trans issues were at the forefront of the Stonewall uprising. Marsha P. Johnson, a black trans woman and well-known activist, is nowhere to be found. Neither is Sylvia Rivera, another trans woman of color who co-founded the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, aka STAR, with Marsha P. Johnson after the Stonewall uprising. And nor is Storm de la Vie, a biracial and androgynous butch lesbian who reportedly shouted, "Why don't you guys do something?" as she was being escorted out of the bar into a police wagon. It possibly sparked the uprising out on the street. The people that the history and culture page of the National Park Service does mention are Eric Marcus, a journalist, Thomas Lanigan Schmidt, an openly gay artist who was photographed at the Stonewall uprising, Frank Comeny, a gay rights activist who was barred from employment by the federal government for his sexual orientation in 1957, and some guy named John O'Brien, about whom I could find no identifying information, reportedly said, "What excited me was I was finally not alone," according to this NPS article. You'll notice all these people are men, and I'm presuming they're all cisgender meaning not trans, based on the fact that the external articles I can find about them invariably use he, him, his pronouns for them. It's not clear who wrote this NPS article, it has no references or resources, and the official form of the United States government at the bottom of the page asks, "Was this page helpful, and how could we improve this page?" It feels a bit like a slap in the face, and it also makes it clear to me that this is not a deliberate choice of the National Park Service, but a hostile takeover by the bigoted oligarchs who have unconstitutionally gained access to government websites. Thank you. It appears that their game here is to focus on white, cisgender, upper-class, yet homosexual men, and then push cisgender people with sexual orientations that are not straight into the same box underneath them. The goal here is to pit lesbian, gay, and bisexual people against the people who identify as transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, or any other marginalized identity. Their goal is to wedge a divide between the LGBTQIA+ community, and so we are too busy fighting amongst ourselves that we do not have the time or willpower to organize or protest. We cannot let them do this. Now more than ever, we must stand together and we must fight for ourselves, for the ones we love, for the unalienable right to not be deliberately erased. We have to be visible, even though it's hard and it's scary. And allies, we need you to stand with us. Unfortunately, visibility alone is not enough. It must be paired with self-advocacy and action, and it must be paired with action, and which is where the concept of advocacy comes in. Advocacy takes three different forms. We've got self-advocacy, systems advocacy, and policy advocacy. We're really good at policy advocacy. Each plays a role in transforming the world into a more just and compassionate place. To be an advocate for oneself is to embrace and honor one's own identity. For transgender and non-binary people, this can mean claiming space, asserting your pronouns, and seeking affirming environments. This also means practicing self-care in the face of a society that does not always affirm your existence. For allies, self-advocacy includes ongoing education, examining biases, challenging misconceptions, and committing to being a visible and vocal supporter of transgender people in everyday life. I understand how difficult it can be to examine and re-examine our biases, but there's a reason why this action falls under the self-advocacy category. We are constantly listening to ourselves, and we have to be more conscientious of what we are telling ourselves. Unlearning all these things, racism, ableism, transphobia, homophobia, classism, fatphobia, ageism, and all other encoded biases is a lifelong process. Too often when we're called out on our biases, we jump right into defending ourselves rather than listening and learning. Why do we get more upset about being called transphobic than we are upset about transphobia? Social issues evolve so much that it gets difficult to keep up. Our examination of ourselves has to evolve as well. Mentally, it has to evolve as well, or we're going to get stuck back in the 70s. That's mentally, emotionally, and politically. The important thing is that we must listen to and lift up marginalized voices, especially when it's hard to hear. This advocacy will also extend to the broader systems that shape our society. We are transforming our workplaces, our schools, our healthcare systems, and our faith communities to be fully affirming of transgender people. In our own congregation, we can ask, how are we ensuring that gender nonconforming people are not only welcome, but fully included and celebrated? How can we, as a collective voice, be a force for justice beyond these walls? Which brings me to policy advocacy, which is advocating for rights and supporting inclusive policies, opposing harmful legislation, and engaging in civic action, meaning voting, writing letters to lawmakers, and showing up for protests and community meetings. The 5 Calls app is really helpful for contacting your legislators about your concerns. We also have contact information for the Arkansas State Senate representatives on our bulletin board in the lobby. And there's also one particular icky piece of legislation floating around right now that I'd like to call us to action against. If you go to regulations.gov, type passport into the search bar, and press enter, you'll find a notice that is open for public comment until March 20th, 2025. This piece of legislation would make U.S. passports comply with a recent executive order that states that the biographical data on the passport must match the information on the person's birth certificate. And if the person's name is different, the person must also submit a certified copy of either their marriage certificate or a name change order form. If passed, this would have so many implications that affect more than just transgender Americans. I mean, what are they going to do about our height and weights? Sorry. Please just submit your comments on this legislation, and you can even submit multiple comments or anonymous comments on this website. It's regulations.gov. I would also like to encourage y'all to scour this site for other policies and give your input as well. The work of justice is never finished, but it is worth doing. I'd like to remind us all that transformation does not happen overnight. It happens in the daily choices we make, in the ways we advocate for ourselves and others, and in the systems we help to change. As we honor International Transgender Day of Visibility, may we commit to making the world a better place for every person, transgender, non-binary, and beyond. I hope we can live with dignity, safety, equality, and joy. May we be partners in this work, today and always.
Thank you, Ben, so much for being vulnerable. We appreciate everything that you had to say. Thank you. We are going to skip the closing hymn because, frankly, we already did it after the new member ceremony. So we're going to go right on to the extinguishing of the chalice.
Please join me and extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you. We want to read a poem for you for our closing words. This is called Things I Love About This Generation of Queer Kids. I love their courage.
I love their refusal of closets.
I love their chosen names.
I love their use of the singular they pronoun.
I love their blurring of binaries.
I love their honesty.
I love that they go to therapy and work to heal themselves like we never did.
And I love their healing, how it somehow heals backwards through generations.
I love that they set boundaries and choose families.
I love their hairstyles and hair color and how they change like mood rings.
I love the pride they wear on their backpacks, their scrunchies, their clothes, their pins, their eyelids.
I love their fierce Goodwill thrift store outfits.
I love that they are not afraid to love each other.
I love their tenderness and vulnerability.
I love their empathy, how deeply they feel.
I love their freedom, the freedom that my generation wished for.
The freedom that our queer elders and gay trailblazers dreamed up.
In the quiet temptations of generations.
In the isolations of closets and shadows.
In the black trans women led the riots of Stonewall.
In the breaking apart of families.
In the deathbeds of AIDS lovers.
In the bright, bold colors of the pride flag.
In the kisses, mouth to mouth, man to man, woman to woman.
In the revolutions in film, poetry, art, music that named us real.
These movements line the path that's with scattered rainbow flowers.
For this generation of queer kids to follow into their hopeful futures.
I love their hopeful futures, thinking of them growing up.
And how the world will be better just because they're living in it.
I love their inability to be brought down by the outdated thinking of adults.
I love their inclusion and sensitivity.
I love their passion, their protest, their fight.
I love their loud, brave voices demanding what's right.
I love that they are the fruits of so many trees.
And that in each of their eyes, I see a little piece of me. Jory has some sending music for us.
The words of Dr. Bernice Johnson Regan and Holly Near. It starts with Ella Song. We who believe in